Yeah, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Victor Obasuyi, and the channel is My Take on It with Dr. Victor Obasuyi. Today, I'm going to be doing a talk on dry eyes because this is a very common condition, and virtually every one of us is susceptible to having it. The dry eye industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it continues to grow. The reason for this is because virtually every one of us is a potential candidate for dry eyes, because the main culprit in dry eyes is the use of devices such as computers, tablets, and our phones. Surprisingly, as we all embrace technology, every one of us these days have either computers at home, at work, or at the office. We have devices that we use all the time. And we also have the social media. So the thing is, how do you go on social media if you don't use any of these devices? So we don't have a choice than to go with the flow. Even if you decide you don't want to. Schools these days, most of the schoolwork are done on the computer. So most of us do not really have that leisure of saying we don't want to use these devices. And so long as we use these devices, then we are prone to dry eyes. Even if you don't feel the signs and symptoms of dry eyes right now, it is coming ahead of you. A lot of patients have dry eyes, they don't even know they have it. Patients complaining of frequent watery eyes. When you tell them, oh, that's a sign of dry eyes, the first thing they're looking at is like, what are you thinking? I'll tell you my eyes are constantly watery and you're telling me that my eyes are dry. But that's what it is. People complain of burning eyes. Maybe towards the end of the day, my eye starts to burn. It feels like there's a film over my eye. When I blink, it clears. After a while, the film comes back. Sometimes occasional blurry vision. You blink, it clears up. After a while, the vision is blurry again. Symptoms of eye strain. My eyes feel strained as the day goes by. My eye gets red as the day gets by. These are all signs and symptoms of dry eyes, which a lot of people don't know. If you do a lot of reading, your eyes are going to be dry. You do a lot of computer work, your eyes will dry up. You do a lot of activities that require you to stare without blinking will make the eyes dry up. Because it's only when we blink that we pump fresh tears into the eye, the old one goes out. So the old one will always go out. But how often you replenish it is where the problem lies. So most times when you stay without blinking, you just focus on what activity that you're doing. Obviously, the eye is going to dry up fast because the old one is going away and the new one is not coming in. So it's every time that we blink, we pump fresh tears into the eyes. And that's why it's advisable, if you do a lot of these activities, 10, 15, 20 minutes, take a little break, even for a minute. Just blink, 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 blink. Take your eyes off the screen. Blink before you continue. By doing that, you pump fresh tears into the eye. But if you don't blink and you just focus on the work that you're doing, because you need to finish it, then the eyes are going to be dry. So when the eyes are dry, you need to use artificial tears. The question most patients come in to the clinic to ask is, okay, I know my eyes are dry like you said, doc, but give me the best dry eye drop. There's no doctor, no sane doctor in their right frame of mind that will tell you that see you the first day and tell you this is the best dry eye drop for you. Doesn't work like that. There's no one size that fits all. And that's because the dry eye drops come in different types. Patients go to the pharmacy. There are so many of them because it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. So there are so many brands and so many types of dry eye drops at the pharmacy. So a lot of times patients don't know which one to pick. But if you go through your eye doctor, the eye doctor will check, okay, the eyes are dry. How bad is it? Based on that, the doctor can then decide, okay, I'm going to run a few trials with you using the sample artificial teardrops that doctors usually keep in their offices. And the reason for that is the sample drops will help you and the doctor navigate which one will work best in your own situation. Instead of going to the pharmacy to buy one today, find out that one doesn't work, you go buy another one, buy another one. Virtually every eye doctor have sample dry eye drops in their office. There's nothing wrong with you asking your eye doctor for samples. I personally try the patients on the samples before deciding on which one they can go with. It may take a week or two. Usually the dry eye drops come in two categories, preserved and the non-preserved ones. The preserved ones have a preservative in it. That preservative is what gives the drop the longer shelf life, so it doesn't lose its potency as fast. The non-preserved ones do not have preservative, so they lose their potency very fast. And that's why you find most times they are the ones that you find in those single vial dose, where you break the dose, drop it in the eye, you throw it in garbage. The preserved ones, on the other hand, are the ones that you find in those 5 ml, 10 ml bottles that you buy from the pharmacy. You use, you close it, keep it back. The next time you need to use it, you drop in the eye, close it again, keep it back. So those are the preserved ones. They last a lot longer. The non-preserved ones, advantage is because they're non-preserved, there's no patient reaction to the drop. There's no patient allergy to the active ingredient. But the preserved ones, most patients react to the preservative. So for patients that react to the preservative, they have no option than to go with just the non-preserved ones. The non-preserved ones, on the end of the day, will also cost more because the cost of producing one 5 ml bottle compared to the 5 ml bottle will probably last you a month. For the non-preserved ones, it means you have to buy vials, like 30 vials, because each vial you use once, throw away, or maximum twice. So the cost of producing 30 vials compared to the cost of producing just one empty bottle is a big difference. Because let's consider that it's the same quantity of drop that you have in the 5 ml that you're probably going to have in the same 15 to 20 vials. But the container itself, instead of one container, you have to produce 15 containers or 20 containers of the other one. So the cost of that alone will add to the cost of the drop or the medication itself. But advantage, like I said before, of the non-preserved one is there's no patient allergy to the medication. Patients are not going to react to a medication that doesn't have preservative. Once we know, okay, this is preserved and non-preserved, if the patient doesn't have any problem with the preserved one, then we know, okay, now we have two options. Do we go with the regular teardrop or we go with the ultra one? Because most times if you go to the pharmacy, you'll find drops that come as maybe refresh tears, refresh ultra, sustain regular, then sustain ultra. So virtually every one of them have the regular drop and the ultra. So virtually every one of the teardrops that you find over at the counter is either preserved or non-preserved. If it is preserved, then you have the regular one, you have the ultra. The difference between the regular one and the ultra means the ultra has a higher viscosity, so it is thicker. Even when you feel it, you can feel the difference. The ultra one will be much thicker compared to the regular one. Now the thicker one, obviously when you put it in the eye, it takes time for the eyes to break the drop down. So the patients will usually complain of a blur that lasts about a few seconds to a minute. The regular one, because it's very thin, there's no, as soon as you put a drop, it doesn't blur the vision in any way. So that's the difference between the regular teardrop and the ultra teardrop. So again, for patients that have the leisure of the time to put like 4 or 5 times a day, then they can use the regular one. But some other patients do not have that leisure of throwing in drops every 3 or every 2-3 hours. So they have to go with the thicker one, which is the ultra. But the thicker one lasts longer on the eye, so you don't need to throw in the drops as often. So if you put the regular one, it evaporates after about 2-3 hours. Then you have to put another drop. So which means in a day you have to use about 4 times. The ultra, on the other hand, is very thick. So where the regular one you may need to put 4 times, the ultra you probably put twice a day, and it serves the same purpose. So at the end of the day, the price, in terms of price, you might find you end up spending the same amount at the end of the month, because the one that's thicker you don't have to use as much, but it's more expensive. The one that is thinner is cheaper, but you have to keep throwing in a lot of drops. So at the end, you might probably break even at the end of the month. So that's why there's no doctor that can tell you this is the best dry eye drops for you. We have to go through a couple of samples, and based on that, we can now decide, okay, this is the one that is best for you. What is best for John may not be best for James. And it's not a matter of genetics, because siblings, cysteine can be best for John, and refresh is best for James and the siblings. So it just depends on individuals, the way the eye absorbs these drops. So that's why I said no one doctor can see you the first day and prescribe the best teardrop, artificial teardrops for you. It doesn't work that way. Usually it takes going through a few samples. So the best thing to do always, once your doctor says you have dry eyes, ask for some samples. Virtually all doctors usually carry sample teardrops. So this is my take on it. So when you go to the pharmacy, even if you need to pick up, because most of them are non-medicinal, they're just lubricants. So all they do is keep the eye moisturized. So if you go to the pharmacy and you need to pick up one, at least now you know if you should be picking up the one that has preservative or not. Or should be picking up the regular one or the ultra. Other than that, the brand name, generic name, almost all of them do the same thing. So use whatever you're comfortable with, then that's what you should go with. So, but your eye doctor will guide you based on how bad the dry eye condition is. If it's very dry, then you may need to use the ultra. Or if it's even worse than that, lid hygiene will start coming in, where you have to keep using hot compress to massage the eye, so that way it unclogs the meibomial gland. Then if it's even if the drops, if the regular tear drops don't work or don't seem to work, your eye doctor may now prescribe Restasis. Restasis will obviously cost you a lot compared to the regular teardrops. So I thought I'll share this with you guys, so at least everybody have a little idea. And you go to the pharmacy, you don't get confused as much when you know these are the things to ask for. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. If you have any comments or you have questions that you think I should answer, throw them in the comment section. I'll be more than glad to answer them. If you have tips for dry eyes, of course there are people that use omega-3 fatty acids. Those, of course, it helps. People use flaccid oil. There are so many other things that people use, but in terms of dry eyes, the most important thing is lubrication. That's why the dry eye industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. So, and if there are other topics about the eyes that you want me to talk about, also throw them in the comment section. I'll address it in upcoming videos. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Again, it's Dr. Victor Obasuyi. Continue to share the video. We appreciate you all. Even if you don't benefit from it, somebody else that you know may benefit from it. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.